Hi, I'm Lorianne here, welcoming you to join us in one of our sessions. And we are talking today about business leaders' do's and don'ts. I don't usually, as you guys know, I don't usually speak from the negative element. I speak from the positive element, what we should be really looking at. And there's no perfect formula for handling tasks like workplace issues and problems, and setting reasonable expectations and understanding how to motivate and manage people while effectively communicating with everyone. So what I'd like to do is go down a list of 15 items, 15. So don't forget to take your notes, 15 items of don't to create your own best practices as successful leaders, right? So the first one, the boss thinks that they know it all. Well, there's nothing worse than working for a boss who thinks that they know it all and thinks everyone else under them is there to do their bidding. Go fetch, go, 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 go. The most successful leaders never assume they know more than the people they lead. They don't claim to be the experts in everything. Instead, most successful leaders leverage the skills and knowledge of their workers. So it goes back to the adage of surrounding yourself with the most knowledgeable people, and that makes you the smartest person in the room. And it really does, because you know how to leverage their skills. And by focusing on someone's positive skills, what they can contribute, their wheelhouse, as I refer to it. My wheelhouse is strategy and mentoring, and other people's wheelhouse may be making websites. It doesn't mean that I can't build a website, because I can build websites. I don't enjoy building websites, and there are people who do it far better than I do. So that is not what I consider my wheelhouse. But can I do it? Yes. Do I want to do it? No. Do I have people who do it who are experts in it? Absolutely. Some of the finest people I am blessed to have on my team doing website builds. So what a successful leader does is they encourage their employees to contribute ideas. The best leaders know they must engage their employees and find ways for them to contribute meaningfully, right? So we all feel better when we can contribute meaningfully. Number two, underestimate the importance of communication. Many leaders fail to inspire their colleagues. This is largely because they lack good communication skills. They don't effectively convey important messages, or worse, they say one thing in a meeting and something else in a company-wide email. The result is confusion and turmoil. Teams won't cohere if no one is on the same page. Great leaders are good communicators because they're genuine when they correspond and they connect with others. Successful leaders say what they mean and mean what they say. I'll say that again. Successful leaders say what they mean and mean what they say. They take the time to communicate clearly. They don't say, I'm going to have you in a meeting, you're going to be part of the team, and then suddenly you find that you're not part of the team. That lends for a lot of confusion. That lends to distrust. That lends to confidence reduction, right? Okay. Number three, uninterested in listening to others. Again, the result is the loss of an employee's confidence, trust, and loyalty. Successful leaders know how to listen with empathy. They're always willing to answer questions, clarify issues, and respond to concerns. You know, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we listen? Why wouldn't we clarify issues? We're the leaders. We know what we want to go. We know the direction we want to go to. And collaborative mind is always better than the singular, right? Don't we agree with that? Everybody agree with that? Okay. Four, micromanage and never allow employees to shine. How is that good for anybody? Poor leaders often are micromanagers, never fully trusting their employees to do jobs without constant oversight. That means that the leader doesn't have an understanding of the strengths and the skills of their team members, and they don't allow the employees to grow. Good leaders, they take the time to assess the abilities and skills of each team member. They involve their staff in goal setting and create clear objectives so each person understands his or her role, and the team is ultimately successful, right? So that's win, 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 win. You know, rising tides lift all boats, right? Okay. Number five, underestimate the importance of emotional intelligence. Many weak leaders lack emotional intelligence. They fail to see the damage they do when they fly off the handle and let their emotions get the best of them. Successful leaders have learned to control their emotions, remain calm during a crisis. You want to be able to turn to a leader in a time of crisis when something is failing. That is not the time to lose it. It's just not the time. And that's a learned expectation, and you get better at it. It's about learning curves. You hear me say this a lot. If you take the learning curve and you didn't react the way you want, you're disappointed in yourself, make that learning curve shorter every time by realizing it and recognizing it. That allows your learning curve to be shorter. The shorter, the more successful you're going to be. So successful leaders pay attention to the employees' morale and the staff's mood. They know how to give praise. They encourage others when faced with a setback. They recognize the importance of creating a positive atmosphere where employees are motivated. Emotional intelligence works hand in hand with communication to help successful leaders find ways to resolve conflict. Again, emotional intelligence works hand in hand with communication to help successful leaders find ways to resolve conflict. Number 6, they fail to give useful feedback. Oh, for goodness sakes. Poor leaders tend to be stingy when they give accolades and positive feedback to others. They haven't learned the fine art of giving constructive criticism in a way that acknowledges employees' strengths while helping them improve weak areas, right? So successful leaders know how everyone craves praise and recognition, and they take the time to generate useful, effective feedback. That doesn't mean giving successful praise to people who aren't being successful. When something is well done and in a helpful manner, feedback can transform an average employee into a high-performing, exceptional employee and worker. So that's what we want to do. So you need to use feedback successfully. You need to make it useful and make it work for us, not against us. Number 7, hold on to anger or resentment. Leaders who harbor resentment create an oppressive work atmosphere where workers are afraid to take risks and speak candidly for fear of aggravating the boss. Successful leaders can tolerate mistakes, should tolerate mistakes. We all make mistakes, right? And see blunders as learning opportunities. So we can take mistakes and turning them into learning opportunities. Some mistakes are huge and you're like, oh, for God's sakes, how are we going to fix this? But we do. We work together to fix it. You stand by their side. Good leaders stand by their side and make sure to help them find success in it. And believe me, there's nothing that anyone could ever say to me that's worse than I say to myself when I do something that's not my top game. And I know everybody feels that way. Everybody beats themselves up. We don't need other people to do that. What we do need is someone to help them clear out that situation, listen to the criticism without blowing up or becoming offensive. Great leaders certainly feel disappointed when others let them down, but they understand that reconciliation and forgiveness are critical to long-term success. Make sense? Okay. 8, lie, cheat, and gossip. Oh my goodness. I'm going to say that again. Lie, cheat, and gossip. I call them the whisperers. They go around and they say things so that they can kind of harm people's reputation because it makes them feel better. Any negligent manager can create a toxic environment where nasty habits like lying, cheating, and gossiping can thrive. Strong leaders understand that integrity is the foundation to success. Integrity is the foundation to success. So when you conduct yourself in a respectable and honest manner, recognizing that they serve as role models for their staff, when you as a leader recognize that you serve as role models for your staff, then that integrity and honest manner trickles down. You know that trickle down effect? You're going to have the same thing. If you allow the lying, the gossip, and the cheating, you're going to see that trickle. If you're doing it yourself, it gets caught on. People are smart. Well, this includes not engaging and tolerating gossip. There's one thing to hear about our people's concern. Good leader draws a line when somebody begins to badmouth another person without justification or proof. So if you're just going to sit there and say, well, I heard so-and-so, blah, 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 that's just bad-mouthing. That's just gossip. We don't like gossip, and good leaders don't allow that. They stop it in its tracks. Not allowed here, not allowed in this office. We don't talk about that. You want to have a conversation about something that you're concerned about, more than happy to entertain that. But if you want to talk about somebody else and what you believe are their weaknesses, leave that to me as a manager. I appreciate your concern. Let's move on. So it's up to us to stop that. We can snuff gossip. We can stop it, and we don't have to jump into it. As soon as we jump into it, we're part of the problem. We're not part of the solution. Number 9, expect perfectionism in themselves or others. Bad leader believes that expecting perfectionism is a winning strategy for excellence. No, 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 no. Contrary to belief. Successful leaders know that expecting a flawless performance every time can kill teamwork by holding employees to really high expectations and standards. I used to suffer from that. I have very high expectations of myself. I believe that everybody should have that high expectation. Everybody does not have that capability or high expectation. I wasn't being a good leader. I recognized that I wasn't being a good leader by having those expectations. I remain to have certain expectations on myself. I've even been nicer to myself on my own expectations. But I also look at what capabilities are. I look at the employees' tools, and I look at their ability to problem solve, and I work alongside with them so that employees keep learning and growing, and they can follow a simple work formula. They can launch, they can tweak, and they can improve upon themselves. And they know a product isn't going to be a foolproof on the first try anyway. Improvements are an ongoing part of business. We're always improving ourselves. So successful leaders stay connected, listen to their customers, listen to their team members, and they work through mistakes and setbacks. We all have them. We're all going to have them. I'm going to make more mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. We're going to work through them, and we work through them together. And again, I think this is a good application for the collective mind as well. We're not sitting there and beating somebody up because they made a mistake. We're coming together to give support because the next time it might be us, right? Number 10, avoid conflict. Many leaders find it really tempting to veer away from an awkward, uncomfortable confrontation, and whether they mean to or not, their attitude minimizes the urgency of correcting the mistake. Again, that causes a trickle down. Successful leaders, they accept the conflict is unavoidable. They must deal with it and keep it from festering. Very, very important. You got to keep it from festering. So if you deal with it right away, you kind of snuff it out. You don't give it lift. You put it down. You make it quiet. And you see the performance or personality issues go unaddressed, they'll only intensify and fester over time. So successful leaders tackle problems head on, and they know the best way to address them quickly when the situation is fresh, right? Number 11, we're coming down to the stretch. Lack of vision. Dysfunctional leaders lack vision. That's why when I mentor, I look for 3 qualities. One is vision. If you have vision, we can do just about everything. But dysfunctional leaders, they lack vision. They are unfocused, uninspired. They fail to grow and progress in their leadership skills. You know, if you're not trying to help improve yourself, how are you going to improve people that you're leading, right? So vision is absolutely critical to a strong leader, and no leader is successful without it. Vision helps a leader set expectations and goals for an organization. Vision helps them to communicate better. Vision helps them to hold the team members accountable for reaching those targets because they have the vision for the targets and setting them down. Successful leaders help define their organization's unique missions and moves their business forward by finding ways to create greater value. As leaders, make sure you understand your organization's strategies and goals. And if it's your firm, make sure you have that vision and you've sat down and done, what does Lorianne say all the time? Strategize. Yay, lift up the roof. We're going to strategize, and we're going to make sure we understand that we have a strategy and we're going to attain these goals. That can be fluid. That can change. Nothing is written in stone. Don't worry about it. Good is good enough. You've heard me say this a lot, right? Good is good enough. Don't worry about being a perfectionist. Get out on the street. Get it rolling. We'll fix it as it goes. We tweak as it goes. It's better that way anyway. You're going to tweak anyway. So we might as well do it as we're rolling it out. 12, reactive instead of proactive. There are times we have to be reactive without a doubt, but we shouldn't operate in a reactive mode. Reactive leaders don't plan ahead or anticipate problems. Their lack of forward thinking causes them to miss valuable opportunities. Not good leaders, they react to situations as they occur, so they aren't prepared to handle the crises, nor do they embrace favorable circumstances to help them advance. or progress. So if you are looking down the road and you're being proactive and you can anticipate there may be a problem, you could have things in place. So when and if it happens, bam, you already have a solution set up. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And you avoid some of the other don'ts that we just spoke about, right? Okay. So ultra successful leaders know where they want to go, and they design their lives and their businesses to get them there. So they create the path, they create that vision, they know the direction they're going in. They prioritize what's important, and they say no to things that don't support the overarching goals. I'm going to repeat that again. They say no to things that don't support the overarching goals. The most number one difficult thing that leaders have, and I find in leadership that are lacking and aren't really great leaders, is they don't know how to say no. They say yes to everything because they want to be liked. Not about being liked. A leader is about doing the right thing and staying on course, staying on task. You can be nice, but you don't have to be liked. Not everybody's going to like what you're doing, but if you're doing the best thing and the intention is good and it's supporting the overarching goals rather, that's something that a good leader does. 13, inflated ego and lack of humility. Weak leaders use their position of power to inflate their egos and to bolster their self-esteem. They're quick to point out other people's shortcomings, but are unable to recognize their own flaws. Listen, we all have flaws. We all make mistakes. We all have our days that are good. We all have days that are bad. Some days I react to the same circumstance a lot better than other days. And so it's about recognition, reducing that learning curve, reacting better more times than not. And that comes with lack of humility, using our observer, not our ego. We'll have a conversation about that another time. And I think that's an important conversation that we should have soon. The observer lacks ego. When you're in your observer, you don't have ego. It's not about feelings. It's about looking at what the best thing to do is for everybody involved, as many people as involved. So weak leaders, they're quick to point out other people's shortcomings, as I said. Effective leaders solicit input from other employees and different ranks. They go the extra mile to make others feel appreciated, and they recognize their work. But most importantly, humble leaders are effective and successful because they have an accurate perception of their own strengths and weaknesses, and they augment those strengths and weaknesses with other people who support it. So now we're supporting each other's strengths and weaknesses, and a really good team complements each other. So where my weaknesses are, some of my team members absolutely strengthen where my weaknesses are, and some of my strengths, I help strengthen them because that's my strength. That's my wheelhouse. 14, they disregard advice and mentorship. Now, you know how I feel about mentorship. I think it's really important. I, too, have a mentor. Poor leaders rarely seek the advice of colleagues, or they see the value. They rarely see the value of mentorship. Either finding a mentor for themselves or being a mentor to others. They believe they have the answers and they don't care to share their knowledge with anybody else. It's important as a leader for us to share our knowledge with other people. We make mistakes. If we can help other people avoid the same mistakes, that's the recreating the wheel. Why should they recreate the wheel? We already know how to do it, and provide them with a fast path. To me, it was well worth my learning curve to be able to share it with somebody else and allow them to avoid the same bumps. There's no reason. We're going to hit bumps no matter what. Let's help people through, and so that we don't have a lot of moguls. We just have occasional hurdles, as opposed to all the ones that we went through. Oh my goodness, can't speak anymore. So smart leaders understand the importance of building a support system. Mentorship and seeking peer advice will help strong leaders gain insight into best practices and deal with day-to-day challenges and stresses. Makes sense, right? Successful leaders understand the importance of having multiple mentors to rely on so they can gather different points of view. I refer to it as 360. I think when I was advising someone, I would take it upon myself to try to give them as much of a 360 view of whatever the topic is so they can make the best decisions possible. That's what a mentor does. A mentor sits there and gives you all different angles for you to look at it. At the end of the day, you still have to make the decision. At the end of the day, your client has to make the decision, but you do a disservice if you don't provide every angle, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I refer to it, right? Right, the good, the bad, the ugly. You guys are getting used to that, right? Good. And then last but not least, treat people like machines. Don't. Poor, hungry leaders treat employees as if they are cogs in a machine, as though they can be bought and sold, and they move them around like they don't have feelings, as though their only use is to provide profit for those at the top. Don't do that. I have felt like that cog in the machine. It's disenchanting. It reduces people's value, self-worth value. You do seek to want to go someplace else because it's just not a comfort place to be, and your voice isn't being heard anyway. Most successful leaders, they focus on empowering the employees. They understand the benefits of servant leadership, whereas we are all here to serve. I truly, truly, deeply believe in that, and which they are the top focus on helping employees, or their top focus in helping employees to do their jobs to the best of their ability, to do their jobs to the best of their ability. And it's our jobs as leaders to try to elevate what that best means for each of our employees. But we can't do that while we're beating them down or taking them for advantage or constantly saying negative things to them, right? So we need to lift each other up. We need to raise the bars for all of ourselves and our employees. And it's not do as I say as I do, right? It's let's do this together. So the successful leaders, they seek collaboration and participation from the whole group. They're servant leaders. They affirm their team's strengths and potential. Don't be fearful to give compliments. And they lead at high performance and overall success. Successful leaders are communicators. Successful leaders see the value in their team. Successful leaders see the value in their clients and in the people in their lives. Those are successful leaders. The power-hungry leaders, they're the ones who are going to be the whisperers. They're going to be the ones who try to push other people down because it makes them feel good for the 5 seconds, while they just crush other people. Successful leaders don't crush people. They take them off the wall, and they help them be successful. We all should be doing that. I encourage that. You know that I encourage that. I encourage mentorship. If I'm not mentoring you, or if you need a mentor, be it myself or other people, I really encourage that. It's a great sounding board. Mentorship is the way to go. It's safe. You should be able to trust the person that you're talking to. They should be giving you really good advice. And there's a feeling. You all know, we all have that feeling, that connection. We work well together and help guide you forward. The success of you, as I've always said, lifts my heart. That is the best reward for me, to see you guys successful. I want to see you successful as well. So if you want, there's no cost involved in having a free consultation with me to have a conversation. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a leader who's looking for additional guidance in being a better, successful leader, you have a team that you want to do some team building with, let's have a conversation. We can bring them forward. That is my goal. That is my mission. That is what I am here to do, is to help other people lift them up. So thank you. Thank you for staying in and hanging in. This was a long one, guys, but it was really important to reach these. If you have any other questions, let me know. Please reach out to me. I always enjoy our conversations after these. And the rest of you, I will see you in your respective mentoring sessions that we have coming up in the next couple hours. So love to you all. Thank you. Have a really, really good day, and I will see you soon. Join Leadership Circle. Join the Leadership Circle. You want more information. Bless you.